for our 15-minute silent meditation. Let us begin by taking a deep, centering breath.
Good morning, and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship's online Sunday service. Please join me in singing our opening song, Use Me. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, and God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. I am the senior minister here at Creative Living Fellowship, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. I would like to extend to you the greeting that we give to our first-time guests if you are with us for the first time today. So let's just open your hearts just to receive the message that we'd like to give to our first-time guests. Whoever you are, wherever you've been, whatever brought you through our doors today and to our service today, we welcome you here into our hearts. Namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word that means the God in me welcomes the God in you and recognizes the God in you, and that we do. CLF is a religious science church and teaching center, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our vision here is to be a community of care, connection, and creation that opens hearts and incubates dreams. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind. One of our practices here is holding the high watch. And we have two practitioners today who are holding the high watch. And what that means is that they are sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation throughout this service, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding and the perfect unfolding of this service and perfect unfolding of whatever may be going on in our individual lives and whatever may be going on in the world. Those practitioners today are Rhonda Emmerich and Peter Waring. So thank you, Peter. Thank you, Rhonda. We really appreciate your service this morning. Let's take a breath together. Our AV team today is none other than Nicole Jordan. And for the first time, we have up there Deb Covington, the Jill of all trades, who is serving as our AV team today. Our regular Luis Morales and his wife are home with their brand new baby daughter, Maricela. She was born, I think, a week ago today. And so we congratulate Luis and his family on this brand new baby who came in to this plane last week. We have our music director with us, David Panessa. He's always here on Sundays. Thank you, David. We appreciate it. And of course, Deb Covington was our song leader today, as usual. Nicole Jordan is going to be bringing us our video announcements. That will be followed by a brief gong wash. And after the gong wash, there'll be a few moments of silence, and then practitioner Fran Peck will bring us our reading and our evocation. I always invite you to just take the reading, the words of the reading, into your minds, into your hearts, and allow them to find a resting place within you. First, we're going to hear the announcements from Nicole. Nicole.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. Are you ready for your announcements? Remember to join us for midday meditation on Facebook at noon, Monday through Thursday. Your children are invited to join our youth ministry weekly for a Zoom lesson on Mondays at 7 p.m. Lessons are focused on nurturing spirituality and science of mind practices for our kiddos. Weekly topics are inspired by Reverend Sherry's themes and include growth mindset and mindfulness exercises. Zoom info can be found in the comments. Remember, you can now text to give to make your contribution to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. If it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account. After that, all you'll need to do is text the amount you'd like to give to, again, 602-610-1868. Speaking of tithing, CLF is a tithing church, and we are looking for nonprofits to send our quarterly tithe to. If you have a nonprofit you would like to nominate, please use the link found in the comments to submit your recommendation. You can also find a link to this form on our website under Tithe Recipients. And on Sundays, today included, after service, from 11:15 to 12:15, join practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns for Sunday Fellowship through Facebook Messenger group video chat. That is a lot to say, but Facebook now has a group video chat option. Use the link posted in the comments and hang out. Discuss the service, what's inspired you, maybe the healing properties of hummus, or was that cake? Who knows? But good conversation and connections are sure to be had. And that's it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash with a brief moment of silence.
Our reading today is Self-Awareness is Not Enough, from Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. Let's talk about the need for meeting situations as they come along, without fear and without in any way trying to avoid them. For every issue of life must be met right where it is, and what is wrong must be made right. This coming to understand our psychological difficulties and how to clear the passageway in order that the original source of life may flow through us unobstructed, in its broadest sense, is called self-awareness. Coming to one's self, coming to awareness, coming to understand why and how we started on the wrong path emotionally, explaining this to the self, this is what is meant by self-awareness. But self-awareness alone is not enough. It is merely clearing the track for right action. Something has to be done with self-awareness. We are not seeking a way to escape from life or living, for this would be the exact opposite of the whole purpose of existence, which is to express the self. Self-awareness without self-expression can almost as readily produce emotional disturbances as can the lack of self-awareness. Life must be expansive and expressive. One is not happy unless one has a purpose in living. Consequently, after we have come to self-awareness, we must start expressing again, no matter what our age. Engage in the joy of living and do it with others. The well-integrated person gets along with people, not by tolerance, but through cooperation. This is the game of life, and it must be played. Let's take these words into our hearts and our minds. There is one power, one presence, one life. That life is love. That life is peace. That life is harmony. That life is the givingness of life to itself. That life is my life. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for all of us. We are all that one life, that one peace. We are made in the image and likeness of that source. And so knowing this, I speak my word of blessing for this service. I speak my word of blessing for Reverend Dr. Sherry, knowing that her message is divinely inspired, and we all receive that for which we have need. I speak my word of blessing for our congregation, knowing that the power and the presence of God is right where they are, enfolding them, wrapping them in love. I speak my word for this service, knowing that it unfolds perfectly, divinely. I speak my word of blessing for this nation, for first responders everywhere. I speak my word of blessing for this world, knowing that the power and presence of God divinely guides us, divinely enfolds us. And I speak my word of blessing for teachers of truth everywhere, for the leaders of our nation, for the leaders of this world, knowing that they are divinely guided and divinely inspired. So with thanksgiving and gratitude for the perfect unfolding of this service and the perfect unfolding of this day, I release my word knowing it is already done. I release it in faith. I release my word in trust. and I release my word in truth, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. I release and let go. I release and know. And so it is.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. I'm honored to be with you this morning. The only thing that would be better is if I could be with you in person in that beautiful sanctuary you have in Phoenix. I can see it in my mind's eye. I love you. This is for you. Thanks for having me this morning. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I've found. The sky is calling. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I've found. The sky is calling. Gonna climb this mountain. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. 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 Love you.
Thank you, Gary Lynn Floyd, one of our favorite friends here at Creative Living Fellowship. He hasn't been here for a while, and we're really glad to have him back today. He'll be coming back a little bit later during the offering time, but right now we can just take a breath and just take in his wonderful music that is so soulful and is so divinely inspired. This is what he says about himself on his website, that he's divinely inspired to create the wonderful musical lyrics that he does and the musical ideas that he has. And so we welcome Gary Lynn back here, and as I said, he'll be back a little bit later. So let's take a breath together as we begin to look at what's happening for us today. We are continuing, of course, with our theme, Life is for Living, Just Say Yes. But you know, I didn't realize that life was going to be such high-intensity living. Living feels really high intensity right now. It's like really, really high intensity is what we're experiencing right now. And with all the change that's going on, we're beginning to really start to look for the gift in all this change that's happening, because everything around us is beginning to change. And we have to be in a place where we can just learn to just go with it, just go with the flow, just be a part of that change, just be, as I said last week, a bridge to that change and be the bridge of change. And as we do that, sometimes we get caught up in all kinds of stuff, get caught up in all the things that are going on, because things are happening so fast, and it seems to be one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. It's sometimes kind of hard to keep up. And so my topic today is just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. And as usual, I wasn't sure what that meant when I wrote that topic out and gave it to Nicole some weeks ago. And as I'm going through my life now, I just recognize that that is just a mantra that I have to have for myself, and that I'm inviting you to use for yourself also. You know, I had an opportunity to use it on Friday. My email was hacked, and I didn't realize what had happened. I was getting all these weird emails saying that messages had not been delivered, and at one point I had 38 messages saying that messages that I sent to different people had failed, and that's my personal email that I don't use that often, so I was quite surprised by that. So I called my email provider, and I told them what had happened, and they told me that my email had been hacked, and that I needed to change to a new system that they had, a new platform that they had. And I didn't really want to change that. I wanted to keep the same email that I've had, email system that I've had for the last 15 years. And he said, well, we don't have that one any longer. Yours is obsolete now, and we have to switch you over to a new one so that you can be up to date and so that you won't be hacked like you've been now. So I said, okay. I took a deep breath and I decided, all right, I'm moving into technology, trying not to do it kicking and screaming, but I'm moving slowly into technology, and I'm going with it. And he said it would take a couple, I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to lose any emails that I had saved. And he said, no, that it would take 2 or 3 days for them to migrate over, but that everything would come over with my new email. So fast forward a few days later, almost a week later, actually, and I went back to my email, my personal email, to see whether or not it was working yet. And when I clicked on the page and got ready to sign in, it said Microsoft Office 365. I didn't know what that meant. So I said, well, this must not be right. So I turned it off and decided I would just ignore it. You know, you ignore it. I played ostrich. You ignored it, it would just go away. So I went back to it, and I tried it out the next day, and it did the same thing, Microsoft Office 365. And it had all these icons up there for Outlook and Mail and Calendar and Friends and just different things. I think there were 10 icons up there. And I had no idea what any of that meant. And so I turned it off again, and then I turned it back on. And it was still there. It wouldn't come back to the usual page that I signed in on for my personal email. So I finally decided to call the provider and find out what was going on. And so I called, and this young man answered the phone, and he was so nice. And I told him what was going on, and he said, well, that's your new email. This is the way that it looks. And he said, you just have to, this Microsoft Office 365 is the platform or whatever the name is for it that we use now. And I said, but I don't want that. I want the email that I had before. And he said, we don't have the one you had before. And I said, I want to switch back to the one I had. I had that email for 15 years. And he said, well, ma'am, I'm really sorry. We don't have that one any longer, but this is the new one. And I said, I just don't want a new one. Let me tell you something right now. I said, I'm going to apologize to you in advance because I am very, very upset. I'm very, very frustrated. I don't want to learn how to use a new email system. I've been using this email for 15 years. I don't want to learn anything new. Do you know I'm learning how to use Zoom right now? Do you know I have Zoom meetings all day? Do you know and I just went on and on and on. And I could hear this voice in my head saying, just stop it. Just stop it. And he was saying, ma'am, you're being very nice. I just really, I understand your concern. And I said, I've already apologized to you. I'm not upset with you personally, but I'm really, really upset. And I want my old email back. And I just went, I went on for a long time. And he was so nice. And he was trying to tell me how nice I was. I felt so sorry for him that I carried on about that email. And he told me that no, he could not give me the old one back, but he could help me learn how to use the new one. And I said, I don't want to learn anything new. Do you know how much I have to learn right now? And then I started all over again. Oh, it was embarrassing. I was home by myself. I was really glad that I was home alone. But I just kept hearing this voice in my head saying, just stop it. Just stop it. And then he had the nerve to put me on hold with music. And I was prepared to just really assault him when he came back, to tell him how much I dislike music on hold. And I finally heard the voice saying, just stop it. Just stop it. So when he came back, I didn't say anything about the music on hold. I just decided that I would take a deep breath. And I would say to him again how nice he was, how patient he was. And if he could just, if he gave me that little survey after we finished, I would tell the people that he was a genius and that he deserved a raise for dealing with me. And so he said, well, I won't get a raise, but I would appreciate it if you would fill out the survey. I said, absolutely, I will. And you know, I afterwards, I just sat there and thought about how I was feeling, how I was responding, how really, really nice that young man was who talked to me. And I wasn't attacking him. That's not the way I do things. But I was just venting my frustration, and I kept saying to him, I'm really not venting this at you. It's just that I need to talk about Zoom and how long it took me to get that going and how long it took me to get a new modem in my house. And I started with that again, and I just realized that, you know what, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. And I wonder how many of us are feeling that way today with all the things that are going on in the world, all the things that we have to learn that are new, all the ways that we've done things all our lives, all of our adult lives, or in the last few years, or whatever the case may be. We're not doing any of those things now. Everything is new. Everything has changed. Everything continues to change. And the change is happening so fast, it seems like we can hardly keep up. And there's always something new for us to learn. There's always something different for us to do. And at some point, you just have to say, just stop it. Just stop it. Not that we can stop anything outside ourselves, but we can stop the way that we are reacting or responding to things. And I wasn't responding about my email. I was reacting. I was just very, very frustrated. I was just I just was very, very resistant. I just didn't want to learn anything new. I didn't want to learn anything else. And, you know, I finally just had to just take a deep breath and just step back. I had to take a deep breath and just step back and just really figure out what's going on with me now. Why am I so upset? Why am I so outraged about this email? What's going on with me now? And you know, underneath all that is still all that emotional stuff that I've been dealing with, all the emotional stuff we all have been dealing with. As the reading talks about self-awareness, just becoming aware of what we're feeling, becoming aware of the things we're dealing with, becoming aware of the things that upset us, becoming aware of what we believe, becoming aware of how our beliefs are changing or how our beliefs are being dismantled, or how all our lives seem to be dismantled. The way we move through this world seems to be dismantling. And so how is that affecting me? How is that affecting each of us? And I had to just really, as I took that step back, I had to just really look at what's going on. What's going on with me? And it's still the grieving. It's still the grieving. There's grief that I feel when I come in here on Sunday mornings, and there are 5 of us in here. When I'm used to seeing the sanctuary full, I'm used to seeing the faces of our community, of our congregation, of our friends, of our loved ones here on Sunday mornings. That's grief-inducing, not having that experience that we've had for so long, for so many years. And I haven't been here as long as some of you, and I'm sure you must be experiencing some of the same thing. Some of the same thing. And underneath that also is fear. Just fear about where do we go from here? What's going to happen next? What's going to be the next thing? How long will it be before we come back? How long will it be before the next thing, the next big thing happens, the next blow-up happens? You know, all those kinds of things are fueling our emotions and fueling our reactions when we are reacting to things that are going on, rather than responding. I wasn't in a place of responding. When we are in a place of responding, we are in a place of being conscious and consciously aware of how we are dealing with the things that come up, rather than lashing out. Just being in a place of coming from the inside out rather than from the outside out. That was how I was responding. That's how I was reacting. And so I invite you to start to look at what's happening for you. What's happening in your life? What are you reacting to? And there's so much going on for us to react to. There's so many things that are happening every moment. Sometimes I'm afraid to turn the TV on because I don't know what the next story is going to be. I don't know what the next thing is going to be that's going to happen. And there are some things that affect me a lot. And a lot of things affect me, but there's some things that affect me personally and affect me in a way that I had forgotten about, different things that I didn't remember any longer. And it brings up a lot of things, a lot of old memories, as I said last week. A lot of old memories are coming up. A lot of flashbacks are coming up. A lot of awareness is happening of things that I had lost an awareness of. And now all of this is staring me in the face again. And I'm sure that that's happening for many of you, that's staring me in the face again. You know, one of the things that happened this week, I saw a news report night before last, I think it was, that Walmart and Walgreens was now going to start unlocking multicultural hair products. And I was looking at that going, unlocking multicultural hair products. Oh, that means unlocking black hair care products. And for a moment, I didn't understand what that meant. And then I remembered all of a sudden that for many years, when you go into a store and looking for black hair care products, they're locked up behind a screen or behind a shield. And you would have to go up to the counter and ask for them, and then they unlock the counter and then sell whatever it is we wanted. I had forgotten about that because my hair has been short for so long, I didn't need the products that they were locking up. But just the idea that I had gotten used to that. I had gotten, some things have become part of the fabric of our society, so much so that things become normal. We normalize so many things that are unusual. And so that had become normalized. I have walked in the stores around here since I've been in Phoenix, and I've seen those products locked up. It never even dawned on me that was an unusual thing, that was something that was out of the ordinary, that was something that should not be tolerated. But that never occurred to me because I was used to seeing it. I've been seeing it for years. It's been my experience for years that black hair care products are locked up. And when I became aware of that this week, as I was going through all these awarenesses, there was some anger, there was some sadness, there was some regret that I had forgotten that I had forgotten about that. And so then I had to really just take a breath and just say, you know what? Just be with all these feelings, be with all these remembrances, be with all these awakenings that I'm having right now. And so that's what I'm asking you to do. Just stop it if you're starting to beat up on yourself for what you don't remember, or beat up on yourself for what you didn't know, or beat up on yourself for whatever the case may be. Take a breath. That's the first thing we have to do as we walk through this time. As we're learning new things, as we're seeing new things, as we're seeing old things, as we are seeing things that have been going on forever, we have to just take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. That's the first thing we need to do. Take a breath. We don't need to stop breathing. We need to stop reacting. And in order to stop reacting, we take a breath, and that breath gives us an energetic step back. That breath gives us a chance to reconnect to our source. That breath gives us a chance to reconnect to spirit, to that part of us that is unchanging, that part of us that is always right where we are, that part of us that is always anchored within us, that part of us from which we can never be separate. That's what we want to do. We take a breath and we return to center. We return to spirit. We return home. We return home to that from which we can never be separate, as I said before, to that within whose image and likeness we are made. We have to return there and get anchored. And taking a breath allows us to do that. And at taking a breath, then we stop our involvement, our emotional involvement in all the stuff that's happening out there. We have to take a breath. We have to take a step back. We have to take a step back. And so that's what I'm inviting you to do. If you're right in that place now where your mind is going crazy and you and your thoughts are going crazy and things that you're saying, you're lashing out or you're being upset and you're doing all kinds of things, headed down that rabbit hole that you get into on Facebook and other social media, we have to just take a breath and step back. Take a breath and step back and just stop it. Just stop it. And after we do that, then give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Yes, there are many things you did not know. There may be many things you never paid any attention to. There may be many things you may never have been aware of. Many things that you are learning now about our world, about our country, about the way that we live in this world, about the way that some people live differently than others, about inequality, about racism, about injustice on all kinds of ways. There's some things that some people didn't know, some people weren't aware of. But give yourself a break and not beat up on yourself because you should have known. Don't should all over yourself. Beat up on yourself because why didn't I know? Why didn't I see? How didn't I? Well, you know what? You didn't. But right now, we're in a place of awakening. Right now, we're in a place of taking the blinders off because so many people have walked through this world with blinders on. And now is the time to take them off. Now the blinders are off. Now what are we going to do? Now the blinders are off. And so rather than beating up on yourself, rather than wallowing in guilt, rather than wallowing in shame, rather than doing all that, it's just a matter of giving yourself a break, taking a breath, giving yourself a break, and deciding how you're going to move forward. Deciding how you're going to move forward from this place. What can I do now? What can I do now? And the question really that has come to me a lot from other people during these last couple of weeks, particularly this past week. Many people are saying, what can I do? How can I respond to this person saying this on Facebook? How can I set people straight when they say this particular thing? How can I do whatever? And you know what? That's not mine to answer because I don't know. I don't know. But there is that divine intelligence within each of us that knows exactly what needs to be done, knows exactly what needs to be said, knows exactly what type of response needs to be had, knows exactly what needs to happen to navigate our way through this time of change, navigate our way through these perilous waters, because that's what it feels like, perilous waters that we're navigating our way through. And so what our question really has to be is, how can I serve? How can I serve? Not what must I do? What can I do? How can I serve? How can I serve? How can I serve the vision of equality? How can I serve the vision of equal justice? How can I serve the vision of oneness? How can I serve in this situation? How can I serve? How can I serve? That's our question. How can I serve? Because you know what? It really is about service. It really is about service. It's not about doing. It's about service. How can I serve my purpose for being here on this planet? What is my purpose for being here on this planet? How am I to express God's love? How am I to be that vehicle for God's love to be expressed? How can I serve the vision? How can I serve the purpose of my life? And the way that we get the answer to that question is by returning unto God. By returning unto God, by turning within, by really coming to that place of center, by centering down, by recognizing that the only thing that needs to be healed is our sense of separation. And that what we are looking at out in the world today is a sense of separation. We're looking at that separation. And what we want to do is to come back to that place of oneness in our own lives. How can I serve the vision of oneness? How can I serve the vision of love? Ernest Holmes says that joy must go out to meet joy. Love must go out to meet love. And you know what? love must go out to meet love. Peace must go out to meet peace. Whatever we put out, that's what we meet when we're headed out. And so making sure that our hearts are open, making sure that our minds are clear, making sure that our intentions are pure, making sure that we are doing what it takes within our own selves, within our own being, within our own awareness to practice oneness, to live in oneness within ourselves. You know, just as the reading was saying that self-awareness is not enough. And self-awareness is really important because you can't do anything else until you become self-aware. And so becoming aware of what's going on with us is a really important thing, but it's the first step. Self-awareness is that first step. Self-aware, becoming aware of our feelings, becoming aware of our beliefs, becoming aware of what we're saying, becoming aware of what we're thinking, becoming aware of all this stuff, that's the first step. And self-awareness then can lead us to right action. Because self-awareness has a second component, that is self-expression. That is self-expression. So how are we going to be in self-expression? How are we going to express in this world? How are we going to let that self with the capital S express in and through and as our very lives? How are we going to show up in the world? How are we going to show up? And so rather than just doing something for the sake of doing something because it makes you feel good to feel like you're doing something, you know, people who want to just respond, I mentioned Facebook because people bring that to me a lot. Things that they see on Facebook that really upsets them. They really want to set somebody straight and they really want to do this. It's like, why? Why? How does that serve? What does that do? Except for a moment, assuages your ego. You know, the ego wants to fight. The ego wants to tell somebody else. The ego wants to be engaged. What if you just take a step back and allow Spirit to show you what it is that's supposed to be your next step, how it wants to express through you, as you. How does Spirit want to express in this moment? I'm becoming self-aware. I'm becoming aware now. How can I be a place for self-expression? And that's the capital S, self. That God self, that Spirit self, that divine intelligence that already knows how it wants to express, that divine intelligence that already knows your purpose for being here, that divine intelligence that already knows that it can express perfectly in and through and as you, in and through and as me. But it can't do that until I'm open, until I'm receptive to it, until I'm willing to allow it to express. I'm willing to be available to it. I'm willing to say yes to it. I'm willing to allow it to live its life fully and completely through me, as me. And to the degree that I block it in any way, to the degree that I set up any kind of resistance, to the degree that I fight it, to the degree that I am getting caught up in all the angst, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it and take a deep breath. Just stop it and give yourself a break. Just stop it and ask the question, how can I serve? How can I serve this day? And you know that service is one of our 7 sacred practices here. I'm inviting you to really look at that throughout this week. How can I serve right now? Is what I'm thinking serving the cause of oneness? Is the tenor of my thoughts serving the cause of healing the sense of separation? Is what I'm about to say or what I've been saying, is that serving the cause of oneness? Is that serving the cause of love? Are these words that I'm sending out, is that love going out to meet love? Is that peace going out to meet peace? Is that harmony going out to meet harmony? Is that joy going out to meet joy? If not, just stop it. If not, just stop it. Take a deep breath, get back to center, and then start again. Start again with the question, how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I serve the cause of the divine? How can I serve the cause, the greater good for all of us? Because we're all in this life together. We're all in this life together. We're all here together. And we all came in here the same way, and we all leave the same way. And what we do in between times is where we get into that whole separation thing. And so I'm inviting us now to let that go. Just stop it. Just stop this separation. Just stop this otherness. Just take a deep breath. No matter what you've done in the past, give yourself a break. And look at how can I serve? How can I put one foot in front of the other and serve? Serve the cause of love. Serve the cause of oneness. Serve the cause of justice. Serve the cause of the divine. And that's always love. That's always the greater good. How can I serve the cause of the greater good? That's our question for the week. How can I serve? And then allow ourselves to be in that place of receiving the guidance, because that guidance is always available to us. It is always waiting right here to show us when we are available to it. And so anything else that comes up, just stop it. Take a deep breath and come into a place of center, and come into a place of oneness, and come into a place of availability, and come into a place of openness, and come into a place of yes. 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 Let's turn within. As we turn within in this moment, just taking a breath. Just taking a breath, recognizing that there's but one power, recognizing that there's but one life, recognizing there's but one breath, there's but one presence, there's but one mind, there's but one life. One. That one is everywhere present. That one is all-knowing. That one is. It just is. And that isness, that is that one, is my very life. It is the life of each of us. It is the source of each of us. It is first cause. It is that from which I can never be separate, because it is always, always, always right where I am, because I'm made in His image and in His likeness, and out of God's stuff itself. The same truth that I know for myself, I know for all of humankind, that everything is God, that it's all God, that that's the only life, the only power, the only presence, that God is all there is. This is the truth that I know. God is all there is. And this allness that is God is my life. This allness that is God is my life. My breath, it breathes me. It is closer to me than hands and feet, nearer than my heartbeat, my breath, because it is my heartbeat. And so knowing this truth, I speak a word of healing for each of us this day. I speak a word of healing as we release and let go of the small stuff. We release and let go of the big stuff. Release and let go of that which does not serve. Release and let go of that which keeps our hearts closed. Release and let go of that which would block us from experiencing the allness and the fullness of this power and this presence that is our very life. We release anything that would clog our thinking. Release anything that would get us caught up in distractions that would hold us back. We open our hearts, we open our minds, and we allow that divine guidance to move us forward easily and effortlessly. I speak a word for anyone who's experiencing loss this day, who's grieving that sense of loss, knowing that right where each of them is, God is, and that God is the great comforter, easing pain, comforting broken hearts. Anyone experiencing physical illness, physical discomfort this day, God is in the midst of everything. And healing is happening to every body temple, every cell, organ, tissue, function of our bodies is experiencing that healing presence of God, that radiant presence of God. Anyone who is suffering financial loss or sense of lack and limitation, I know that God is in the midst of everything, and that abundance and prosperity and all needs are being met each and every moment of each and every day. For God shows up as the thing itself, as needs fulfilled in each moment of each day. I speak a word of blessing for anyone needing a prayer this day. Just knowing the right where each of them is, God is blessing and keeping them. No matter what the circumstances may be, no matter what the name may be, no matter what the situation may be, God is in the midst of it. This is the truth that we return to over and over and over again. That God is in the midst of everything. So this prayer goes out this day to anyone on this planet needing a prayer. And I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. I know indeed that all is well, for I know indeed that all is God. And I simply say thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you, Infinite Presence. I'll just simply allow it to be now. And so it is. Thank you, David. This is our conscious giving time, our offering time, the time that we give of our tithes and offerings. And as you know, we are a tithing church here, and we invite you to join in this sacred practice with us. Tithing is one of our 7 sacred practices also. And we invite you to join in that practice with us today by pressing the donate button. And I think that's appearing on the comments section of the Facebook page that you're watching. We also have the new feature, Text to Give. You can use your cell phone to text your donation to us. And most of all, we'd like you to know that we really do appreciate your financial contributions, your financial support, your continued support that you've provided for us since we've been out of this sanctuary. And we really do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. And now, Gary Lynn Floyd is going to bring us some more music.
Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Not just a place to get into someday, far away. Be bold, it's something that you can tap into. A strength that'll help you to get through each day by faith. Oh, oh, behold, believe the kingdom of God is at hand within each woman and man. Believe. Receive the truth that is setting you free. The miracle in you released. Receive, realize, open your eyes, behold, the kingdom of God is within you, and it's not just a place to get into someday, far away. Oh, people, it's something that you can tap into. by faith. Oh, oh, behold, somehow reach down inside you and find a love that's been there all the time. Somehow, right now, somebody's broken and sad. They need you to give what you have right now. Oh, realize, open your eyes, behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Yeah, it's not just a place to get into someday, far away. Oh, oh, be bold. It's something that you can tap into, a strength that'll help you to get through each day by faith. Oh, behold, behold, the kingdom of God. Oh, oh, behold. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary Lynn Floyd. We're so happy that you came to visit with us again today, and we hope that you'll be back very, very soon. So let's take a breath together as we move into our final announcements. Next Sunday is Father's Day. I can't believe I just said last week, I thought that welcome to June, and here we are, it's Father's Day already, the third Sunday in June coming up. We'll have a guest speaker next week, one of our favorite friends, of course, from San Diego, California, the Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer will be our guest speaker for next week, and our musical inspiration will be singer-songwriter Dan Vega from up in Sedona. We welcome Dan back. He hasn't been here for a while either. We have on-call practitioners who are available to pray with you. Their numbers are showing up on the comment section right now, and we have email if you'd like to email them. It's prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. You can send a prayer request directly to the practitioner corps. Don't forget that on Tuesday evenings, we have our CLF Community Care Connection meeting. And you know, I mentioned that there's something for each of us to do, that how can we serve? There's a purpose, there's a vision for each of our lives. We're going to do a visioning this week for our own lives, for our own life purpose. What is it that God wants to do through each one of us? And so we have visioned a couple of times in the connection group for CLF. And that continues because we have a vision core. But I'd like for those of you who are connecting with us to come in and let's start visioning for your own life's purpose. What is God's vision of itself as your life? How can I serve? That'll be revealed to us in visioning. And that's what we're going to start doing, visioning for our own lives on Tuesday evenings at 6:30. So I invite you to join us. The Zoom link is in the comments and on the Facebook page also. Continue to use the treatment for supply. It really works. And I'm getting such good feedback from a lot of folks who are texting me and emailing me that they've been using the treatment since we've been out, and it's really, really making a difference. So don't slack off now. This is a time to keep it up. This is a time to remember that God is our source and just continuing to treat for that supply and for right action and for everything else that's contained within that treatment. It's on page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. And I invite you to continue to use it on a daily basis, twice a day, morning and evening. You can use it more if you'd like, but certainly use it twice a day. And watch your life just continue to unfold and continue to thrive. Most of all, continue to connect with each other. It is so important that we stay connected, that we keep reaching out to each other, keep sending those little love notes and text messages and phone calls and all the things that we do, all the ways that we stay connected with each other so that we can remember that we are a community of care, connection, and creation. That's going to be it for me. I love you. I miss you guys. I love seeing your messages and getting your emails and getting your phone calls and getting your cards and all that. Really, really, it means a lot to me. I love you all. And now we have a few friends who are going to connect with you as we close out here today.
Good morning, CLF.
Hi, CLF. This is Bobby Crotty, and I'm wishing you all a wonderful day. Can't wait till we can be together again. Take care. Love you.
Hello there, Creative Living Fellowship. It's David. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe, and I can't wait to see all of you again real soon.
Good morning, CLF family. Practitioner and Animal Chaplain Fran here. Saying love you, miss you all. Can't wait to see you. Be safe, stay healthy. Love you all.
Hello, Creative Living Fellowship. It's Reverend Christopher here. See you soon.
Hi, CLF. Miss you, love you.
Good morning, CLF. Knowing for everyone in the congregation inner peace and perfect health. See you soon.